The dead do not knock. They arrive on the water, one flame at a time. In old Japan, one night each year, the veil does not tear open. It opens like a door held gently by a familiar hand. Families light lanterns along the river, not to ward off spirits, but to call them closer. What if the ones we lost are not gone, only waiting for an invitation? Stay with me tonight, and let their quiet homecoming settle into your chest until your breathing slows to the rhythm of their return. So let your eyes close now, if they haven't already. Let your shoulders soften into whatever is holding you, the bed, the chair, the dark. There is nowhere else you need to be. Tonight there is only this, a quiet village, a summer evening, the soft edge of dusk settling over rooftops like a hand smoothing a wrinkled cloth. Breathe in slowly, hold it just for a moment, and let it go. Imagine you are standing at the edge of that village now, not walking yet, just arriving the way sleep arrives, quietly, without announcement. The air is warm still, holding the last heat of the day, the way skin holds sunlight after a long afternoon outside. But a coolness is moving in underneath it, low to the ground, the way evening always finds its way in first through the shadows. Somewhere far off, the last cicadas of the day are slowing, thinning out, not gone but tired, the way all things grow tired as light fades. This is Obon, an old custom in Japan, older than memory in some villages, when for a few days each summer it is believed the spirits of ancestors return home, not as strangers, but as family, coming back through the door they once knew, welcomed by the very people who loved them. Tonight is the night the lanterns are lit to call them home. You don't need to understand it fully. Tonight is not for learning. Tonight is for resting, for letting the village settle around you the way fog settles over still water, slow and without effort. Somewhere ahead of you, past the edge of where you're standing, rooftops catch the last orange light of the day. Wooden beams, tiled edges, smoke thin and unhurried, rising from a chimney somewhere close. The path beneath your feet, if you were to walk it, would be old stone, smoothed by generations of feet before yours, but not yet. Just breathe and let your body grow heavy, the way the evening grows heavy with the coming dark. There is a stillness to this hour that does not ask anything of you. The villagers know this hour. They move slowly through it, the way you might move slowly through a memory you don't want to disturb. Tonight, you are simply here to witness, to feel the hush that falls over a place when the living prepare to welcome the ones who came before them. If you listen closely, not with effort, just with quiet attention, you might hear the faintest sound of paper. Somewhere in one of those homes, a lantern is being unfolded. Careful hands, old creases, a shape remembered from last year and the year before that and the year before that. You don't need to see it yet. You only need to know that it is happening, that somewhere close, someone is preparing a small light to carry down to the river. A light meant not to illuminate the dark, but to call someone home through it. Let that thought rest in you now, soft and unhurried. You don't have to answer it tonight. You only have to rest inside it, the way you might rest inside a warm room while rain begins somewhere outside. Feel your breath continue to slow. Feel the weight of the day begin to lift from you, the way dusk lifts the heat from the earth. Soon we will walk together through this old village. We will watch the lanterns being prepared, and follow them down quiet paths to the river's edge. We will watch them drift into the dark, carrying their small lights toward the ones who are waiting. But not yet. For now, just stay here at the edge of the village. As the light fades gently from gold to blue, only this dusk, only this stillness, only the soft, waiting quiet before the lanterns are lit. Imagine now that you are walking slowly along a path of old stones worn smooth by centuries of feet before yours. The stones are still warm from the day's sun, though the sun itself has almost gone, leaving only a low amber line above the rooftops. Each footstep falls soft against the ground, unhurried, the rhythm of someone with somewhere gentle to be, though you cannot yet say where. To your left and right, wooden houses lean gently into the coming dark, their walls the color of tea steeped long, their beams silvered with age. From the open doorways drifts the scent of tatami, that dry green hush of woven rush, mingled with the warm breath of rice cooking slow in blackened pots. You breathe it in, and it settles into you like a memory that is not quite your own, but feels familiar all the same, as though someone once described this very evening to you long ago. Somewhere ahead, a broom moves in steady strokes against a stone step. Whisper, whisper, whisper. An old woman sweeping her entryway clean for guests who cannot be seen, but are expected all the same. She does not look up as you pass. Her hands know this task without her eyes, the same motion repeated every summer of her life, and her mother's life before her, sweeping a path clear for someone who is, tonight, finally coming home. Further along, you notice a small stone figure at the crossroads, round-faced, draped in a faded red cloth, weathered by countless rains. This is Jizo, gentle guardian of travelers, of children, of those who wander between worlds, between the living and whoever it is you are beginning to sense walking just behind your shoulder, close but not unkind. Someone has placed a fresh flower at his feet, still damp with water, its petals catching the last violet light of dusk. A small dish of rice sits beside it, untouched, offered simply because it has always been offered, because kindness needs no explanation here. You pause a moment, just a moment, before continuing on. The whole village seems to be exhaling now, releasing the heat and hurry of the day, settling into something slower, something older than any single house or family. Doors that were shut against the afternoon sun stand open now to the cooling air. Small lanterns, not yet lit, hang ready beneath the eaves, waiting patiently for the dark to deepen enough to hold their light, and for a name to be spoken beneath them. You notice near one doorway a low wooden table set just outside, holding small offerings, a few plums, a rice cake wrapped in leaf, a cup of tea gone lukewarm in the evening air, poured for someone by habit, though no cup has been set out for you. They are placed with the same soft care one might use to tuck a blanket around a sleeping child. Somewhere behind a paper screen, a child's voice hums a tune too soft to catch, and within it, just barely, you think you hear a name, spoken once, gently, the way one might greet someone stepping through a door after a long absence. The cicadas, so loud only an hour ago, have quieted now to a slow, occasional call, as though even they are listening for the same footsteps you are. You feel your own breathing slow to match the village around you, and in that stillness, a question rises without words. Who is it that walks these evenings back into the light of the living, and might tonight be the night they arrive? Further down the lane, past a wooden fence silvered with age, you notice one house with its lantern already taken down from its hook. It rests on a low step, not yet lit, its paper sides pale in the dimness, waiting for hands to smooth its creases and set a small flame inside. You do not know yet whose hands those will be, or what quiet words they might say as they do, but the air near that doorway feels different, expectant, the way a room feels just before someone beloved walks in. You sense, somehow, that this is where the evening is leading you, that somewhere behind that softly lit doorway, a family is gathering, unhurried, to begin the old and gentle work of remembering someone whose face you almost recognize, whose name feels close enough to touch. For now, though, you simply walk on, the stones cool and steady beneath your feet, the last color slipping from the sky like a breath let go. The village holds its quiet like a cupped hand holds water, careful, still, unwilling to spill a single drop of this soft evening calm. And somewhere, not far ahead, a door is waiting to be reached, and someone on the other side of it is waiting too. That door is close now. Imagine it, low and wooden, its frame softened by decades of rain and sun, sliding open without a sound because it has been opened this same way, at this same hour, every year for longer than anyone in the house can remember. Inside, the air is warm and still. A single candle burns on a low table, its flames small and steady, the kind of light that does not reach far but somehow fills the whole room anyway. You are invited to imagine you are here now, sitting quietly just inside the doorway, watching. An old woman kneels beside a wooden chest. Her knees settle slowly, the way knees do when they have knelt this way for 80 summers. The chest is plain, its corners rounded soft with age, and when she lifts the lid, the smell that rises is dry paper and dust, and something faintly like the smell of last year. Inside, wrapped in a cloth the color of weak tea, are the lanterns. They have been folded flat since last autumn, tucked away through autumn winds and winter snow and the long green stretch of spring, waiting in the dark for this one evening. She lifts them out one at a time. Her hands move the way water moves, unhurried, without waste. She unfolds the first lantern slowly, and it opens like something breathing in, a soft paper skin stretching gently over its thin bamboo bones. There is a sound to this. Have you heard it before? The whisper scratch of old paper unfolding. A dry, soft rustle, like autumn leaves remembering they were once trees. Beside her, a younger woman, her daughter perhaps, or her daughter's daughter, holds each lantern up to the candlelight, checking for tears, for creases too deep to smooth. Where the paper has softened with age, she presses it gently flat with the pad of her thumb, slow circles, patient, the way you might smooth a blanket over someone sleeping. The candle flickers each time a lantern passes near it, throwing soft moving shadows up the walls, shadows shaped like small round moons drifting across the tatami. And here is the new thing to notice, if you are listening closely. On the underside of one lantern, faint and nearly worn away, is a name, written long ago in soft brushed ink, a little smudged now, a little pale, not read aloud, only touched lightly with two fingers, the way you might touch a photograph of someone you loved. The old woman does not speak the name. She only nods once, as if greeting someone who has just walked into the room. This is how it has always been done. The paper lanterns are not new. They are not bought fresh each summer from some shop with bright shelves and paper wrapping. These are kept, folded away with care, brought out again with care, because a lantern that has called someone home once may call them home again, gentler the second time, gentler still the third. There is a soft murmuring now, half words, half breath. Old phrases passed down through generations, spoken so quietly you might mistake them for the settling of the house itself. "Welcome back," the murmur seems to say. "We kept a light for you." The younger woman begins fitting a small stub of candle into the base of each lantern, her fingers careful around the tiny metal holder, making sure it stands straight, making sure it will not tip when the flame is finally lit. Outside, the cicadas have gone quiet, even they seem to be waiting. One lantern rests unfinished on the woman's lap. Its paper is thinner than the others, more worn, more careful hands needed to smooth its final crease. She works on it slowly, her head bowed low over the small light, and there is something in the quiet, patient way she holds it that feels less like preparing an object and more like preparing a welcome. Somewhere outside, past the sliding door, the last color is draining from the sky, and the first true stars are arriving, one by one, soft as the candlelight in this small room. But not yet. For now there is only this, hands moving slow over old paper, a candle holding its small steady flame, and the quiet, unfinished lantern still resting, waiting in her lap. What will it look like, you might wonder, once it finally glows? The lantern is finished now. Its paper sides glow faintly, even unlit, catching the last blue light through the window, and the grandmother sets it gently beside the others, 3 small paper houses waiting for their flames. Outside, the sky has deepened. That soft place between blue and black, where the first stars begin to press through like pinpricks in old cloth. It is time to go. You can imagine the family rising slowly, unhurried, the way people move when a task is not urgent but sacred. The grandmother lifts her lantern with both hands. The father carries 2, one for himself, one for a son too young to walk the whole way holding his own. The daughter holds hers close to her chest, careful, the way she might hold something sleeping. They step out into the lane. The night air meets you first, cool, softer than the day's warmth, carrying the faint mineral smell of a river not yet seen but already felt, somewhere beyond the rooftops. The lane is narrow, packed earth beneath sandals, worn smooth by generations of feet walking this same short distance on this same night, year after year, family after family, down toward the water. Their footsteps are soft, just a whisper of cloth and skin against the ground, matching the pace of the lanterns swaying gently in their hands. The small flames tremble inside their paper walls but do not go out. The family has learned, over many years, how to walk in a way that protects a flame. Slow, steady, no sudden turns. The grandmother speaks, so quietly it might be only to herself. "They are not coming back to frighten us," she says, "only to walk beside us again for one night." No one answers. There is no need to. The daughter's grip on her lantern loosens, just slightly, as if the words have settled something in her chest. Somewhere close by, a cicada calls, then falls silent. Another answers farther off, softer, and their song thins as the evening deepens, fading the way daylight fades, not all at once, but in slow, gentle retreat. And here, walking beside the family in your mind, you might notice small lights drifting low along the ditch beside the lane. Not lanterns, not stars. Fireflies blinking on, then off, keeping pace without needing to be carried. One drifts close to the daughter's lantern, hovering near the paper wall before rising again into the dark, as though it too were only passing through on its way somewhere gentler. The lane bends, and the scent of incense reaches you before you see its source. A doorway ahead, softly lit, where an elderly neighbor kneels before a small shrine set just outside her home. Thin threads of smoke curl upward, unhurried, dispersing into the night air like something being gently released, the way the grandmother's words were released only a moment ago. The family slows just slightly as they pass, a small nod exchanged, no words needed. The path continues, down, always down, gently sloping toward the sound that has been growing so slowly you almost missed it. Water. Not loud, not rushing, just a soft, constant murmur, the sound of a river moving unhurried through the dark, the way it has moved every night for centuries, indifferent to festivals, patient with grief, always simply here. The lanterns sway gently with each step, small pools of warm light bobbing along the dark lane, and you can imagine walking among them, one soft light among many, the grandmother's words still settling quietly over the group like the last of the incense smoke. No one speaks much now. There is only the shared understanding of where they are going and why, an unspoken rhythm passed down through so many nights like this one, walking not away from someone, but toward them, gently, one more time. The daughter glances down at her lantern. Its flame flickers once, gently, then steadies again, as if reassuring her. Ahead, past the last row of houses, the lane opens toward a soft glow of moonlight on water, though the river itself is still hidden, waiting just beyond the final bend. And you might wonder, walking here in the dark, lantern light swaying warm in your hand, what it will feel like when the lane finally opens, when the water finally comes into view, when it is time to let this small flame go, not in loss, but in return, the way the grandmother meant it. For now, there is only the path, the soft hush of footsteps, and the river's quiet voice growing nearer with every unhurried step. The lane opens now, gently, the way a hand opens when it finally lets something go. Before you, the river appears, wide and dark, its surface catching the last blue light of the sky like a held breath. The air changes here, cooler, softer, threaded with the smell of wet stone and reeds, and beneath that faintly the sweetness of incense still clinging to sleeves and hair. The family steps down toward the water, their sandals whispering against smooth stone steps worn soft by generations of feet doing exactly this. You follow unhurried. Other families are already here, scattered along the bank like quiet constellations, their lanterns glowing low and warm against the deepening dark. No one speaks loudly. Voices have softened to almost nothing, the way voices do near sleeping children or old temples or something sacred that does not need to be announced. The grandmother kneels first at the water's edge. Her knees settle slowly onto a small cushion someone has placed there for her, worn thin from years of this same motion. In her hands, her lantern glows amber, the paper sides thin enough that you can see, just barely brushed there in soft black ink, a name. Not shouted, not bold. Just written gently, the way one might write a letter to someone far away, trusting it will still arrive. You find yourself leaning closer without meaning to, and in that dim light, you notice something you had not noticed before. Each lantern carries its own small marking. A name, a date, sometimes just a single word, some quiet fragment of memory folded into the paper itself. This one says, "Grandfather." Another, further down the bank, says, "Beloved sister." The grandmother lowers her lantern to the water's surface with both hands, slow, careful, the way one lowers a sleeping child into a crib. For a moment, it simply rests there, rocking gently against the current, undecided. Then, softly, it begins to drift. "Almost home now," she says, so quietly it might have been meant only for the water. She does not look at anyone when she says it. Her eyes stay on the small flame, as if she is counting something only she can see. The river carries the lantern forward, unhurried, past the stones, past the reeds, out into the wide dark stretch where the current runs quiet and deep. One by one, the others follow. The mother kneels next, murmuring something too soft to hear, her lips barely moving. She sets her lantern down, and it wobbles gently before finding its balance beside the first. The father is next, his motions slow and steady, practiced from many years of standing at this same bend in the river. As he lets go, you notice his thumb brush once against the painted name, quick, almost hidden, like a man checking that a door is truly locked. Even the children, when their turn comes, move slower here, careful, solemn in a way that seems to have settled over them without instruction. The youngest holds her lantern a moment too long before releasing it, and the grandmother reaches over, not to hurry her, but simply to rest a hand on her shoulder until she is ready. The murmurs around you soften further, neighbors' voices fading into something closer to silence, until the loudest sound remaining is the river itself. Water lapping softly against stone. A faint hush of reeds bending in the night air. Somewhere far off, the last cicadas of the evening, tired now, their song thinning into stillness. Your eyes follow the grandfather's lantern as it moves steadily downstream, its light growing small among the others, though never quite disappearing. The grandmother remains kneeling a while longer, watching until her lantern is only a point of gold indistinguishable from the rest. Her hands rest quietly in her lap. "He always did like to get a head start," she says, and there is the faintest curve of a smile in her voice, worn soft at the edges, like something she has said every year at this exact spot. No one answers her, no one needs to. She does not rise yet. And so, for a little while longer, you stay here too, at the edge of the water, listening to the soft murmur of the river, watching the lights drift onward into the dark, waiting with her, unhurried, for whatever comes next to arrive in its own quiet time.